final guest that is the only person below Wyatt Holliday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sametti. The YouTube how you doing, Conrad? Welcome to the show.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to WyzGyz Entertainment. This is your host, Wyman. We are joined today by a special guest, Wyatt Holliday of HeroineAdventure.com. How are you, sir?
Good. How about yourself, man?
Doing good. Thank you. Sorry, everyone, for the delay. I was trying to cram in a bunch of errands this morning, and I was off in my timing. But we are here.
We have arrived.
Welcome back to the show, man.
Oh, thanks, brother. It's been a while.
Speaking of it being a while, maybe you wouldn't mind sharing with the audience a little brief origin story. You know, what you were into when you were younger and how came down this path to becoming an independent creator.
I started reading comics around 3 years old. My mother taught me how to read using comics, actually. Mostly Spider-Man, the Hulk. I was a Marvel kid for sure growing up. Got into, I guess sometime around the time I was around 10 years old, I discovered the Savage Sword of Conan magazine. So then I started really getting into fantasy and things like that as well. Always been a fan of comics. So pretty much, long as I can remember for sure. It was always something I wanted to do, tried to break in a few times, maybe late teens, early 20s. And then, proceeded with college and work and all that. And then I decided to start working on this book, Ardana, that a lot of people are probably familiar with. And the timing was right. Everything, came out together, and we put this book together before the campaign even launched. And I got in with CG. It's been about 2 years now. So the rest is history, as they say. So
when you were trying to break into the industry initially, did you do what a lot of aspiring artists did, where they put together a portfolio and keep making submissions to the big two, DC and Marvel?
But for writers, a lot of there was it wasn't so much about going to conventions and showing people a portfolio. It was more about, they always wanted about a 6 to 8 page story, so it could be read quickly. And so, they didn't want a full script of 24 pages. Of course, they wanted you to use their characters. So I tried to use things like outside the box that people wouldn't normally use. Like instead of using, say, Wolverine or Spider-Man, I grabbed some random character like Howard the Duck or something like that and do a little 6 to 8 page script and send that in. Of course, you send a query letter and whatnot with it. And did a little bit of that. My late teens, I guess, maybe. It was when Image Comics was first getting big. I guess it was around that time. Image was big. Valiant was super hot.
All right.
So, and then the guy that I ended up talking to the most was actually from DC, from Milestone, as a matter of fact. Dwayne McDuffie. He's no longer with us now, unfortunately. But he created all the cool Milestone characters like Hardware and Icon and Static. Like the cartoon series Static Shock. Wrote a lot of stuff for DC before that. So I ended up having a few back and forth letters with him because, of course, this was the old days. We're talking 90s. So this was more like write letters, send it in the mail type of thing. So we did write a few letters back and forth. He gave me some tips and pointers and helped out a bit. So yeah, man, that was about the way it went back in the day. Yeah, there was no emailing anyone. So
you're saying that cartoon series Static Shock is actually based off of the character Static?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought it was some new character specifically designed to be a Saturday cartoon or something like that.
No, there was a early, I want to say sometime 93, 94 maybe is when DC had that imprint Milestone. And that was when that was first developed. And I was big into that. So I might be one of the only people I know that has every book they ever published. I was a big fan. So yeah, I guess they developed the cartoon series out of Static because he was probably the more, he was the younger, inexperienced, almost, relatable to teenagers and kids, almost like Spider-Man would be in a way you could say. So that was probably why they decided to go with that character for developing an animated series.
And then when you mentioned for writers, you typically write a 6 to 8 page story using their characters. Are you talking like a complete story or story arc in one, all in the 6 to 8 pages, or?
Yeah, you would try to, almost like it was a backup story or something. You would try to just put together you would try to make it self-contained within those 6 to 8 pages. I usually try to stick with 8. 6 is kind of tough, but you would almost put together like it was a backup story in an annual or something like that.
Oh, neat. All right. So I wanted to take a look at your previous campaigns real quick.
Absolutely.
So, wrong one. Hello. So you've got some experience now under your belt, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Ardana issue 0, Rocky on the Moleman, Ardana 0 Legendary, Eternal Armor, Heroine Adventure now. So let's see, if I'm not mistaken, Rocky Gal and Ardana 0 are fully fulfilled now?
Oh yeah.
I didn't check, but is this still in demand, or did you close it down?
No, it's closed. Ardana? No, it's closed. Yeah. They're all sold out. Wow. All the Ardanas are sold out. There's not even any extras left. I put what I had left as add-ons on the Eternal Armor campaign, and they're all gone. So
whoa.
They went quickly.
That's
and
nice.
Now, it's rare that I see them, but every once in a while I look on eBay to see if anyone's selling them. And I've seen the books from the first campaign with just 3 of the covers selling for $200. So, they're we certainly had a low print run, especially on that first campaign. Ardana's sold out, both versions. We have a few Rocket Gal and the Moment of Mars left, maybe 35 copies, I think. So we're getting slim on those as well. And then Eternal Armor still in progress. So
were some of the Rocky Gals available as like add-ons for Eternal Armor as well?
Yeah. People have been picking those up. I only had one copy of the variant cover for Rocket Gal left, and it went almost immediately as an add-on on Eternal Armor, because it just worked out that we only had one. So it was gone really quickly. And then people have been buying them there. We started with I think I listed 45 of them on Eternal Armor as add-ons, and I guess we're down to about 35 or so left. So they've been selling as well, man. And as far as Eternal Armor, we're $10 away from 10K. So
I know that's pretty cool. 10K on a campaign, that's nice.
Yeah, I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy with it, man.
Working out really well.
and this one's still, this is still in progress. So we're working on it more every day. So we'll be finishing it up here pretty soon, and get ready to start fulfilling Eternal Armor. So
if you were to, oh my gosh, these are Mandy stretch cards.
Those are Mandy's. Yeah.
Wow, she's getting better.
Yeah, actually, I have them up here. Yeah. The glare will probably get them, but oops. But yeah, there's
your camera's like mine.
Yeah, man. So yeah, man, there's some pretty good looking sketch cards, man. So
yeah, she's getting better.
Yeah, they sold pretty quickly. So
and then the so was it what did you break it out so that there were 3 available, and then whoever backed first gets first pick of which one they want, and so on?
Yeah. I would have typically I would probably make them random, but certain people have people started asking if they could get certain ones if they back first. I'm not going to complain too bad. I'm not going to so
right.
So yeah, I try to give them what they want,
Brandon Diaz, he's one of the Diaz brothers from Magic.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
And then Preston Acevedo. Oh yeah, of course. His will sell. And Joe Ball.
Yeah.
Wow. You got a lot of good creators.
I'm still really giant, by the way, on the screen.
oh, sorry.
It's okay.
Yeah. I was looking at all the trading card tiers. Oh, wait a minute. Is that everything? Or are there more?
we had 3 from Anthony Figueroa. Yeah. I think we still got a couple of those left.
Peter
3 from Gilmore. And then we had 3 from Mandy, 3 from Brandon Diaz, and 3 from Joe Ball.
Wow.
And those last ones I mentioned are sold out. So
you plan on adding any more before the campaign's over?
We may. Yeah, we may. We'll have to see. Yeah, I need to start talking with either some other artists or maybe getting with these guys again. Because one guy just swooped in and bought all 3 of the Preston ones immediately. So yeah, may have to look about getting some more on there.
Boy, you're going all out. Print, stickers, trading cards, lunchbox. You're already at lunchbox level.
Yeah, I wanted to try something different with Eternal Armor and just see if I could do a campaign with a lot of stuff. I'm not trying to be a lunchbox salesman, but I thought it certainly would have been a cool, I thought it was a cool campaign to put something like that on. So I wanted to give it a shot and see how things went. We've sold quite a few of them. So at least 25 or so lunchboxes. So
is it part of this tier here that choose a cover plus all swag?
Yeah, you can get it with that one. Yeah, you can get it with that one, and you can also get it with the only difference is the featured perk is both covers and all the swag. So
literally everything.
Yeah. And I just made the other one just in case somebody wanted one cover and all the stuff. So
cool. Dang. Nice. And right on. Do you go to GameStop?
Yeah. It's been a while, but it's been a while since I had time to play. I've got games still in the shrink wrap that I haven't even opened, but it's been a while. But yeah.
Nowadays, I go to GameStop for anything but games because
really?
I don't have any of the current consoles. Mm-hmm. My newest console is Atari Jaguar.
Really?
To date myself. Yeah.
Nice.
I've got a PS2, but I think if I'm not mistaken, Jaguar is older than PS2, or I have it backwards. I don't know. But I go for like the collectible stuff, looking for figurines, hoping I can score something at a clearance price instead of full price.
Right.
But they've got this one of these things that's kind of seems like a trend is they do almost like a mystery box where they include some swag in it, and then they slap on a price. Well, they've got a Transformers and GI Joe thing going on.
Ooh.
So like half the lunchbox I think is GI Joe, and the other half is Transformers. And it comes with I think a T-shirt from each property, and then buttons and stickers from each property, and maybe I don't think it's a patch, but probably a sticker. And maybe one or two other items.
That's cool.
I'm kind of interested in it. I keep being wishy-washy as to whether I'm gonna pull the trigger and buy one.
Yeah, I tried to make it so that I'm gonna do my best to fit all that stuff in the lunchbox, and to ship it that way. Because I thought that would be pretty cool. We'll see if it all fits, because it did turn out to be quite a bit of stuff, especially once you add the T-shirt. So we'll see, but that's the goal. So
yes. Yeah, you've got good characters here too. I like their designs.
Thanks, man.
I think the biggest challenge probably would be in terms of fitting it in is the size of the comic versus the size of the lunch pail. I mean, isn't a comic traditionally larger in dimensions?
Yeah, it's probably gonna be. The comics probably won't make it into the lunchbox, but
crunch it and cram it.
Yeah, just fold it and put it in there.
Yeah, don't mind. Big old giant in the middle of it.
You're like, hey, look, I made it all fit. But no, the T-shirt and the stickers and the trading cards and all that good stuff will certainly make it in there.
Oh yeah, for sure.
My version of the same thing as Pogs. You remember Pogs?
Yeah.
There's a set of those that comes on a card that you can punch out.
Okay.
So all that extra stuff will certainly be in the lunchbox. Like we say, unless I fold the comics, then they probably won't make it in there. But
welcome, Daniel. How's it going? Hail.
Welcome.
Is it in terms of adding all of this extra stuff to the campaign? Did it turn out to be much cheaper than you anticipated it would be to produce all this extra stuff, or did it turn out to be significantly more than you expected?
The stuff like stickers and cards and the T-shirt and things like that, I've done before, so I have experience with those, so I knew what to expect there. The lunchbox, it was about what I expected. And then I guess really the only other thing you got there is maybe the Pogs, and yeah, those were about right. So I think it turned out about like I expected overall. So especially having done a lot of those items a few times now. So
right. So when you're doing a lunchbox, do you have the freedom to choose what size of lunchbox? I mean, do they come in various sizes, dimensions, or is it just like a standard size?
I had the option of choosing the size, and color, and all that good stuff. I mean, it's going to have the artwork on the front and on the back, and there's going to be, around the edges, we'll have the logo and some designs and stuff around the edges. and the artwork's different on each side, but the base color of the lunchbox is going to be that dark blue, almost kind of like the main robot we have there.
Nice.
So
nice. Daniel says, good. Had some lamb cooked in garlic infused. Oh man. Fried the garlic before taking it out. And parsley. Also some nice fresh Roma tomato, salt, pepper with olive oil. Delicious. Oh my gosh. That
sounds good.
Yeah.
I had a grilled cheese for breakfast. So sounds better than what I've had so far today.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better than what I'm having. Two large chicken burgers, 2 medium fries, and 2 medium sodas.
Yeah, I'll probably do pizza for lunch.
Can't go wrong with pizza. I love pizza.
Yeah, same here, man. I could eat it probably about every day.
Yeah. Such variety. Is it going to come with a thermos?
No thermos this time around.
All right. All right.
That was a whole other that was some other weeds to get into. So that was a different can of worms.
So Heroine Adventure Magazine #1. Where did you come up with this concept?
Well, ever since I was about 15, I first discovered the classic pulp magazines like The Shadow and Doc Savage. This is an issue of The Shadow. This is the November 1938 issue. And these were where your superheroes and your costume masked Avengers and things like that came before comic books. So I originally discovered these when I was 15. My LCS had some they had a small rack with them, and I knew The Shadow from the movie with Alec Baldwin, and but I saw an issue of Doc Savage, and I was like, I don't know what Doc Savage is. I thought he was a doctor. Just by the cover, I figured he must be a doctor, and well, he's not a doctor. I saw the cover, and it happens to be number 36 actually, and on the cover he's about to inject this mummy with a syringe, and it's about him trying to resurrect the mummy of Solomon, and things go terribly wrong, and so I got into that because I like to read comics, novels, especially fantasy novels, sci-fi novels, things like that as well. So I got intrigued, and I really got into them and started collecting those from the time I was about 15. And over the years, I just kept collecting and reading, and you've got your Shadow and your Doc Savage and Operator Number 5 and the Spider and a whole bunch of other guys, but there were very, I guess it was due to the time period, but there's very few female characters. There are a few, like maybe Domino Lady is probably the best known, but she never had her own magazine because a lot of them were anthology magazines as well, in addition to the ones devoted to a particular character. So she would appear in some of the anthologies, but I kind of was wanting some with some female characters, and because obviously the comics I make, so obviously I'm into that, and so and then there weren't any, so I figured I needed to make one. I've always enjoyed writing. Throughout my career, I'm going to probably write a lot of things in addition to comics. So figured I would try something different, do something that's never been done before. And as far as the concept and the characters, I've had the idea probably about 10 years. It's been something I've wanted to do for a long time. And then, with comic books like Eternal Armor, for example, we're moving on it, but I can't have too many, you know, I can't have too many comic projects in the works at one particular time. I've already got 2 that we're working on that nobody even knows about yet. And in addition to Eternal Armor, we're finishing up. So, you know, as a writer, since I don't actually draw the books, I can move faster than the artist, you know, than the artist can. And you know, this is something I've wanted to do for a while, so I figured it was time to sit down and write it and make it happen. And so this will be something I can produce fairly quickly, because most of the work is on me to actually write it. So so I'll be able to produce these fairly quickly. And then I can just do this in addition to the comic projects as well, because those do move kind of slow sometimes, as you know. So,
well, let's check out this trailer here.
Yeah, man.
Ava Atlas, born with enhanced bone and muscle density, has trained her entire life to protect the world as a veritable pulp superwoman. A sinister mastermind, shrouded in myth, rises from the shadows, along with his faceless fanatics, threaten everything she holds dear. Aided by an occult investigator who defeated the villain once before, using a mysterious pocket watch powered by blood. Ava must uncover dark designs before a clawed hand grips the globe. In the world's first ever pulp heroines magazine.
Huh.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. Who made the trailer?
I made the trailer, but a buddy of mine named Wyatt Holliday did the voiceover. So
Nice.
yeah. So
All right. So this is the part I'm not understanding yet. I haven't read your campaign yet. So I wanted to. All right. So whenever I think of magazine, I often think of Daniel saying it's hot.
thank you, brother.
Yeah, it looks cool.
Thanks, man.
Is it like, well, I'm sure you go into the description in it later. But is this involved? Is she fighting against like the Yakuza or something like that? Or super criminals or
super criminals. You're almost like James Bond type of villains. In a way, you know, they're always larger than life villains. They're probably trying to take over the world a lot of the times and things of that nature. The original magazine, like The Shadow, for example, and Doc Savage, they both stopped being published around 1948. So because the pulp magazines were huge from the late 1800s to up through the 50s, but you know, once TV became a thing, of course that, you know, took away from a lot of the other entertainment at the time. So TV was a large factor in a lot of the decline of sales. But and then of course this eventually evolved into comic books as we know today. Shit, what was your question? Yeah. So yeah, what we have here is pretty much I'm emulating the classic pulp magazines. It's like I said, this is the 1938 issue of The Shadow.
So I don't remember.
It is very much almost like a novel, but with a lot of artwork.
Okay, that's what I was trying to get at.
Yeah, it's
like a novel, but with a lot of artwork.
Because we're talking about a time before paperback books existed. Because back in the 1800s, all the books were hardback, and a lot of families only had even maybe 1 or 2 books. So you'd better like that copy of Great Expectations or Huckleberry Finn or whatever it was that they had around there. So they started producing, well, you've heard of dime novels before, and dime novels is kind of the precursor to pulp magazines. It was a way to produce cheaper books that a lot more people could get their hands on, and dime novels really came to their peak around 1860, and then that eventually evolved. A lot of that was westerns and things like that, stories about various cowboys and outlaws and whatnot, and that would evolve into the adventure stories in the late 1800s, early 1900s, and finally they started introducing a lot of guys with superpowers, like Doc Savage is before Superman, and he's got a Fortress of Solitude.
Oh, he does?
So, yeah. Fortress of Solitude is originally from Doc Savage. It's in the Arctic and everything, and
oh my gosh.
And his name's Clark Savage Jr., so his name's also Clark.
So what did the Superman creators do? Rip them off?
I think they borrowed a few elements. I wouldn't say it's a complete rip off, but I do think they borrowed some things. The Shadow is before Batman.
Yeah.
So because the Shadow first appeared in 1931, and then Doc Savage comes in 1933. So yeah, that's kind of, like I say, it's the precursor to comics as we know them. I kind of wanted to do a throwback, do something a little old school. So what you've got is a 7x10. It's 128 pages is the standard size. So it is a full. Wow. It's a full deal, man. So it's the equivalent of a novel in this kind of form. So Heroine Adventure #1 will be a complete self-contained, we'll call it a novel, for lack of a better term, in one book.
So are the following issues going to show her continuing adventures then?
Yeah, some will involve her. I may introduce some other characters as well. I kind of have a quote universe planned that other characters may be introduced as guest stars, or I may do a book about one of them in particular. This particular magazine, of course, the protagonist will, by the name, will be female. Even if I switch up characters here and there, and then maybe come back to Ava Atlas for, say, #3 or whatever. And it's a universe that they all live in. I worked out a way to incorporate a lot of pulp elements, kind of like, I wanted to start in the late 40s, like 1948, about where Doc Savage and the Shadow end, so that I can start moving towards some of the like funky sci-fi elements that you start getting as you move closer to the 50s. There's a lot, there's a good bit of supernatural, almost supernatural. I can't really call it horror because it's not intended to be scary, but supernatural elements like dark magic, spirits, demons that people can get abilities from, things like that. So I worked out a way to incorporate a lot of the classic pulp elements into one so-called universe. These characters will all live in the same world and all that good stuff. We have 2 covers. The cover art was so darn good that I didn't want to do completely separate art as a variant. So we've got our standard cover that's nice and clean, looks like you would expect, and then our variant is made to look vintage. It's got cracks, it's faded, it's got scuffs on it, and it's designed to look old. Excuse me. Designed to look old as if it were a magazine from that time period. So thought that would be really cool. It looks really awesome.
Yeah, it looks like you even did a fade on it to make it
yeah. Yeah, it's faded and it's got creases and cracks and lines and all kinds of cool stuff on it. Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Thanks,
And
man.
it's still paperback, right? Trade paperback?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
This is some samples of artwork on the inside. That's our villain. We will talk about him in a minute, but as we begin, this is actually one of the images from chapter 1. He's in prison, as you can see, and they have a special cell for him, and all these mystical symbols are drawn in chalk, and they have the candles and all that around his cell because it's kind of like a ward that keeps him from being able to use his magic, and that's the only way they're able to keep him contained at this time.
Huh. Nice.
That's the sample image in the trailer. She's ripping some doors off the hinges there.
Yeah, that's a cool image.
Thanks, man. Man, Evel Knievel just drove through your house.
No. What's so There's nothing good in this area of town.
So here's our cast where we break down our 4 major characters. Ava herself. Her parents were chemical biologists. One is German, one's Italian, and they were actually living in Germany. They met through working together and all that, fell in love, got married, blah blah. And but what they were researching is ways to help the human body heal faster and recover from injuries, maybe slow aging, things like that. And as a result, you'll find out why and how in the story. But Ava herself was born with enhanced bone and muscle density. So, she's stronger than a normal person, faster, so on, more durable. But since they were living in Germany, we're talking about the 30s at that time. And so around after President, of course, there were people trying to muscle in on their research and trying to obtain it. And around the time President von Hindenburg died in Germany, they were like, well, I guess now's probably a good time to get out of here. So they came to the United States, and where they've been since then. And she's kind of trained her entire life to be able to use her abilities to protect the world from various almost super villains, criminal masterminds, and so on and so forth.
And you mentioned veritable pulp superwoman.
Mm-hmm.
What does it mean to be a pulp superwoman?
Since we're talking about, that's more in reference to the actual time period that the original stories were made. So it's we're talking before comic books, so their powers weren't absolutely crazy. She can rip the doors off some hinges. She could probably bust through a brick wall. But as far as like throwing an airplane or something like that, when you get into like Superman or modern the Hulk type stuff, it's closer to like the Lou Ferrigno Hulk in the TV show, or Linda Carter Wonder Woman, that kind of level.
All right.
So it's just to make it appropriate for the genre.
Oh, nice. All right. The sleeping
yeah, I expect to see shit. I could think of his name. Fast and Furious. Vin Diesel show up beside you. He's been showing up a lot of places lately. Yeah, I know you've seen the memes. But yeah,
it's all about family.
Yeah. So the Sleeping Dragon is our main villain for this story. He's, as it says, he's a sinister criminal mastermind. His arm there, the one that's gold, is actually the sleeve from an ancient Chinese hero's magical armor. All he has of it is the sleeve, though. And because it's magical, he's able to he's kind of been able to twist this magical item to help empower his dark sorcery. So of course, as I mentioned before, he has magical abilities and dark sorceress powers, in addition to leading a kind of almost like a cult of faceless fanatics who follow and serve him. And because, you know, he's a villain mastermind, right? So this is his daughter, Mei Shun. She is studying under him. She's the leader of the Unseen Guard, who are the faceless fanatics that I mentioned. And she is studying under her father. She's learning his magical abilities and any other of his tricks, and in preparation to take over after he's gone, or in the event that he's not there, such as, you know, being in prison. So she's definitely his second command. Inspector Sin might be my favorite character. He was an occult investigator, kind of like a paranormal investigator. If he had had his own books, that's what they would have been about. A lot of like supernatural mystery type stories. He first encountered the Sleeping Dragon about 10 years ago. That would have been one of his stories, like I say, if he had had his own magazine. And it's due to him that the Sleeping Dragon is in prison as our story begins. And there is a better look at the pocket watch that he's holding, but this is kind of a mystical pocket watch that is the face of an ancient Chinese demon on the front of it there. And as the user, you kind of, you know, poke your thumb or finger or whatnot with the teeth on the face there, and you have to drip blood into the mouth, and that's the only way it'll open. And while it's open, it'll show the user either an event from the past, or something that's going to happen in the future, or something happening far away right now. And it only stays open for a minute. But it does take a toll on the user as far as like your life force and whatnot. So,
Wow.
so you know, you don't just whip it out every 5 minutes and be like, let's see what the watch can show me. This, we're getting into some of the things from the featured perk. So this is what I call the Pulp Adventure Trove. This is our big daddy. But this is an extra book that comes with it. You can also get it as an add-on if you want. But that is what I call the Heroine Adventure Guide, and it's going to have notes, character artwork, sketches, and all the actual artwork that's in the magazine reprinted in this. So for easy reference, or if you just want to, you know, go through and look at all the art at some point, you know, after you've read everything and don't want to have to bust out all your magazines and stuff. So that's an extra book that comes with it. Oh, by the way, I meant to mention, when we were looking at the cover with the pocket watch on it, that is also a book. That's 32-page novella that it's called Inspector Sin and the Second Hand of Shadows, and that every backer gets that book, and it's a 32-page story. It's the origin of how Inspector Sin came to discover the pocket watch, how he originally obtained it. And so that takes place before the actual magazine story. And you can either read it first or read it last, whichever one you choose to do. So every backer gets that book. And then, like I say, this is the extra one that comes with the big perk. But like I say, you can add this one on. Everything is going to come in this collector's case. If you've ever backed one of Mark Polton's campaigns and you got his collector's box, it's very much like that. It's got a magnetic closure. It's got the little folder in there where everything's going to fit in. Very cool, very nice. We're going to have a double-sided insert for the cover, so you can either use the regular cover there, or you can flip it around and have the vintage style cover on the other side. Either way you want to display it. And then we'll have the logo spine there, as you see, of course. And everything from this perk will be, everything in your order will be in that box. You'll get cover A and cover B with it. There's the adventure guide, like I mentioned, the Inspector Sin novella. Everybody gets that anyway. Double-sided bookmark. It's going to have the logo on one side, and there will be artwork on the other side. Underneath that is what, yeah, that's what I call the Adventure Society membership card. I kind of wanted to do something like the old days where, you know, this is your membership card that says you're part of the Adventure Society. As I'm just calling it for the campaign. There's a little place to sign your name, you know, to put your signature on there. It basically says that you know, you'll help Ava Atlas and her allies, you know, defeat the bad guys and whatnot. On the back, there's thanks, man. On the back, there's going to be a code, like secret code, that you can use to decipher coded messages that are going to be in the magazine, like in this magazine and future magazines. I'll publish the code for any, you know, I'll publish it publicly after the magazine comes out, so that, you know, it's not something you're missing from the story if you don't have it, but it's just a fun extra. So, I'll publish the code so that, you know, users, you know, people who just, you know, didn't necessarily get this perk can still play around with some of the secrets in there.
Well, how do you identify the heroes from the villains if you're just gonna put the code out there for everyone to see? You know.
Well, they won't have the membership card, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, you got to have the membership card, and that's the only way. That's a gateway to the code. So you got more or less your little Orphan Annie decoder ring.
Right. So, and I may do something cool, like there may be a membership card that comes with the next book. For example, that like maybe if you have both of them, you'll get this cool free something that I haven't determined yet. So may do something cool like that with it as well. So it may be useful for a good number of things. I'm going to play with it and see what I can do and have fun with it, and just try to make it fun for everybody, man.
Yeah.
There you go.
Vin Diesel showing up with new CG box stuff. CG box open. Us family. Oh, and regarding this pocket watch, that's like 12 prickly points.
Yeah, those teeth will get you, man.
Yeah, I was, as you were describing it, I was thinking, wow, what if you did a 3D printed version of that?
Yeah. You know, that was very much something that was considered. I thought long and hard about that, and we may do something like that in the future. But as far as the design and, you know, the color was also, the color might also pose a problem because it's kind of that gold bronze color. And it may need to, you know, it may need to be, I'm no master of painting, but you know, whatever you would do to kind of fill in the grooves, to, you know, put some dark in there as well so that the detail shows up better.
Right.
So
yeah.
once I started thinking about all that, I thought maybe later, but it's certainly something that I will keep in mind to possibly do at some point. And
then what you do is you make the inside of the mouth portion. You know, have underneath the inside top of the mouth a photoelectric LED. So as you hover your thumb or your finger over it, it detects the change in light, and then it makes the back portion of the mouth go red to make it look like you're dripping blood.
Oh yeah.
And then then you can open the locket, the pocket watch, and then it's got like a timer that counts down a minute, and then after the minute it closes up.
Yeah, that would be very cool, man. Yeah, that would be awesome. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, man, I play with that all the time.
I was also thinking, yeah, everyone's of the same mindset. We're all on the same page.
Yeah, man. Like I say, I am definitely up for that. So, you know, certainly an idea I will consider for the future. I didn't want to try to cram it into this campaign. You know,
right.
There's a lot of stuff here right now, and I wanted to kind of keep this one a little simple, coming off, you know, Eternal Armor with the lunchbox and everything I've got going there. So you also get the 4-character art print there of all four.
And you get an old-fashioned typewriter. Nice.
Yeah, you don't get the typewriter, unfortunately. You do get a set of 5 trading cards. Those 4 there are by Shelby Robertson, and they're awesome. I can show you guys. I'll show you guys better, larger versions of them here in a minute after we go through everything. But you get those, and you get a 5th secret mystery card. So it's technically a set of 5. And then you also get
a TypeScript page.
You get an original and unique TypeScript page, which is 1 page of the actual story from the magazine. For my birthdays, my parents actually, someone got me a vintage for real 1940 Underwood typewriter. It's in beautiful condition. Everything works perfectly. It has a brand new ribbon. And I will be typing a TypeScript page on this typewriter, just like it was the old days, just like they used to have to do in the 1930s, 40s, 20s.
Oh, man.
And it is a reproduced page from the story in the magazine, and they're all unique. They're all individual. There's only 1 page 1, only 1 page 2, only 1 page 3. And I will also sign the page, and that will also come in the collector's box with all this other good stuff. I thought that would be something really unique to be able to add to the campaign, and it's been popular. It's been a very popular perk. So
man, all kinds of good ideas in this thing. Yeah, this is far out. This is exceeding my, what I was looking forward to. Because when I hear magazine, I think of like today's stupid magazines where half of it is full of advertisements and a bunch of it is just articles from different and editors but this pulp style, this is really cool.
Oh, right. Now. Yeah. No stupid advertisements. Now we are gonna throw some retro-looking advertisements in there for fun to flavor it up, to make it. But no real advertisements. It's just gonna be fun stuff we put in there to be funny or to be amusing or entertaining. So, so there will be a few of those. Like I say, all that stuff we just went through, you get it there for $100. You get priority shipping in the United States. I'm gonna take really good care of it, as I do. If you've backed one of my campaigns, you know that you know your stuff is well secured, well packed. I've never had anybody, like in 3 campaigns that I've fulfilled, I've never had anybody have anything damaged that had to be replaced. So I'll take real good care of your stuff. So you get all that stuff in the collector's box for $100, including the original TypeScript page. So
nice.
Yeah, and it's been popular.
Yeah,
you can get
already. And then you got cover A with the Inspector Sin book.
Yep. You can get that for $25. You can get cover B, which is the vintage beat up. I call it the beat up cover a lot of times, but you can get the vintage cover with the Inspector Sin for $25 as well. Or you can get both with it for $50.
Nice.
And I wanted to keep the perks kind of simple this time around. And then, like I say, a few things from the featured perk are available as add-ons. I know there are a lot of Shelby Robertson fans, so Shelby's trading cards are available as an add-on. The extra book is available as an add-on. So, I wanted people to be able to get the things they want. So,
for sure.
Let me turn off my camera a minute because my face will be all in it while I'm trying to share. But because playing with one monitor today.
Speaking of that idea for the 3D printed pocket watch, Daniel adds, and then evil after after the pocket watch closes. That was
there you go.
But no stress, Wyatt.
Yeah, right. So this is Shelby's card of Ava Atlas. Like I say, these look awesome.
Yeah.
You know, she is kind of designed to favor Sophia Loren a little bit. You can kind of tell in a lot of these and a lot of the images of her. And this is his card for the Sleeping Dragon, which is incredible. Find my links here. This is his daughter Mei Shun. This is the trading card for her, and then there's the one for Inspector Sin.
Sweet.
You have to look, but his shadow is actually the face that's on the pocket watch. So it's the face of the demon, and there's the sword there instead of his hand, because that's what his shadow always is, as long as he's in possession of the watch.
Oh wow!
So yeah, man. So that's what those cards are like. They're very awesome, very cool. Get a lot of cool stuff on this campaign.
No doubt.
I think
That's
it's
so
unique.
cool.
So, and like I say, man, nobody's ever done it before. So I didn't know what the response was going to be, you know, not being an actual comic in the traditional sense, you know. But it was something I had to do. I didn't care whether it was going to have 5 backers or 500. It was a story I wanted to tell. It was a project I was really passionate about that I really had to do. So I had to do it no matter, you know, how many people wanted it. But the response has been pretty crazy, man. It's kind of blown my mind, man. People are really, really into it. So I couldn't be happier, man. We launched like 3 days ago, and we're rolling on, man. So,
did you launch that on Mindy's show?
Yeah.
And afterwards, did you go on a couple other launch streams, like on?
Yeah. Yeah, I launched on Mandy's Saturday night, which, you know, it is a Saturday night, right? So, I know a lot of people will be waiting for payday and such. You know, I caught them the day after payday. And then I was Raging Golden Eagle. I was on Raging Golden Eagle last night. Went great there. Including your stream, I have 3 today.
All right.
And I have 1 every day the rest of the week, and a couple next week already lined up. So
cool.
I streamed on my channel a couple days ago, where I went through a lot of this in great detail. So
and then
yeah, man.
Is it because it's such a passion project that you set the fixed goal at 500?
Yeah.
Is that literally all it would cost to make all this product and get it shipped and everything, or?
It's more than that, but I've done this enough. I've done this enough times now. We had a considerable number of sign-ups for the pre-launch. I knew we would be able to hit what I would need to get this done and produce everything and get it shipped.
Nice.
So yeah, it's more than $500, but I knew we would be able to do it. And I was going to do it anyway. Like I said, whether I had 5 backers or 500, if it came out of pocket, that was going to be fine. But I didn't think that was going to be the case. So
yeah, it looks like you got 1 more backer since you're at 29.15 now.
Nice, thank you.
Almost at 3,000. 85 away.
Man.
That's 1 featured tier to go, and you'll cross the 3,000 line.
Yeah, man. So I think everybody's really going to like it. I think they're going to enjoy the story that I'm telling and the angle I'm going for here. I will be dropping chapter 1 this week for everyone to read and get into. And I will probably be dropping several chapters throughout the course of the campaign for people to read, preview, see if they like it, get on board.
How many pages is a chapter, though?
It's gonna be about 5 or 6 pages.
Okay, all right, because you don't want to let it all out of the bag.
No. It's a lot easier than with a comic book. Like with a lot of my comics, I release some pages and I'm like, I can't show too much, otherwise I've shown all the spoilers, and so on and so forth. But here, it's not so bad, man. I'll probably be able to release about 6 chapters with no problem. And so I want people to be able to really see what's happening. Those who aren't familiar with my writing style, which can't always properly be conveyed in a comic anyway, so everybody see what I'm about, what I've got going, and
sure.
So yeah, let's see if they can get into it, man.
Looks good. Looks good. I think, unfortunately, I have to wrap things up because I got to go to my second job now. I'm going to give you the floor. Would you share with the world how you can be found on social media?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at _Wyatt Holliday, 2 L's in Holiday. YouTube, the same thing, and I really don't do much else anywhere else. So, a lot of times I'm hanging out on Mandy's channel. A lot of times you can find me there. And I do have a Facebook page for Ardonna, but not a lot goes on there. And then I kind of do everything else through that one. So, you might see Heroine Adventure stuff or Eternal Armor stuff on the Facebook page for Ardonna.
So you also have heroineadventure.com, right? And
yes, that will take you straight to the Indiegogo campaign.
All right.
So at least for right now.
Well, that's an easy way to remember that.
Yeah.
Right. Sweet.
Yeah, heroineadventure.com, avaatlas.com, inspectorsin.com. They'll all take you to the campaign because I just buy the domain names, man.
So what happens after the campaign ends? Do you leave those domains up and continue updating them over time, or do you hide visibility and just continue paying for the domain year after year?
I will probably keep them redirected to the campaign at least through the time it's in demand. Which this one, we're gonna fulfill in November, so that's not too far away. But I'm gonna leave this one in demand a while so that once backers start getting their stuff and word starts getting around, people will still be able to get it.
Nice.
For a good while. But then after that, I will probably move toward a website, most likely. That these will, they will actually be the Heroine Adventure magazine website.
Okay.
So that's the plan. But I don't. Ardonna.com still takes you to Ardonna campaign is closed, so we'll see.
All right. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. I just was curious as to what people did after the campaign, whether they continued using it or continued paying to keep it for themselves.
I will certainly continue to renew. I certainly don't want to lose the domain names. So I got a lot of domain names, man. So yeah. We'll see what I do with it after the campaign closes, but it'll be something cool.
As usual, you can check out all my social media from the description of every one of my streams. Please like, comment, subscribe, mark the bell for notifications. For those of you who backed this campaign, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And, if you've already backed it, consider backing again. You never know. You might have some family and friends who'd be interested in such a project. And looks like a really good zine. And Yeah, back at once, back at twice, back at 3 times lady. If by chance you don't have the means to do so at this time, consider sharing it all over social media. And
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot to everyone in chat. Thanks to everyone who watches this on replay. And thanks to our very special guest, Wyatt Holliday. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
The stream, and good to see you again. And have a great day, everyone. See you on the next stream. Bye.
See you next time.
Final guest that is the only person below Wyatt Holliday in the Comicsgate phone book. It's my favorite failed clone of Peter Sammetti. The YouTube sensation. WyzGyz. How you doing? Welcome to the show.